The last method in large sampling is difference of proportions. In the previous session, we have seen that how do a problem belongs to single proportion, and then what is the method that we have to solve that. Now, how do we identify the problem belongs to difference of proportions? When two samples are given, if a single sample along with the subsample is given, we say that it is as a single proportion. And if two samples along with two subsamples, that means 4 values will be given in the question. Based on that, we are going to identify whether it is difference of proportions or a single proportions problem. So now, see the situation. A machine puts out 16 imperfect articles in a sample of 500. After the machine is overhauled, it puts out 3 imperfect articles in a batch of 100. So he has given some information to us. Let us find what it was. So there was a machine usually runs. They are manufacturing some articles. Any machine usually while working, it keeps out some imperfect articles. That means there will be some defective articles will be there. So what they have observed, out of a sample of 500, that means out of a sample of 500, how many defective items they have identified? One, they have identified 16 imperfect articles. So now after that, what did they do? After the machine is overhaul means the machine was repaired. Now the machine was repaired or it was stopped for some time. Now again they have cross-checked. How many imperfect articles it was keeping out. Now they were found out only 3 imperfect articles in a batch of 100. That means again how much sample they have tested? They have tested 100 sample, out of which how many defective articles they have seen? They have seen 3 imperfect articles. Okay. So basing on this information, what is they are asking us to find out? Has the machine improved? First question is, has the machine improved? Second one is there any significant difference in the output? Is there any significant difference in the output? So we have to identify whether here there are two conditions which are given. The first one is one-sided question, second one is double-sided question. I'll explain you how that goes on. Now, since there are two questions are given, let us have two in same question itself. Instead of solving in two problems, let us solve in a single problem. Okay, anyways, we are not going to calculate these values here. We are going to do this in step number 6. Now, first one, we are going to do the first one. What is the first thing which we are having? Has the machine improved? Has the machine improved means what? Machine improved means the number of defective articles has to be decreased. The concept is the same, right? See, if the machine is repaired means before, if there are 10 defective articles are there, after repairing, at least it should have put out 5 or 3 or 4 defective articles instead of 10. So the defective articles has to be decreased. So null hypothesis, what do I say? Always I should get equal to symbol. Here, how many number of populations are there? Now, in just a minute, I'll just give a clarity to you. Now, since we are having two things, that means before and after situation, we have to verify that. Now, always null hypothesis should be equal to symbol only. Equal to symbol means what? Defectives before, this proportion of defectives before and proportion of defectives after repairing. Now, if I wanted to say it is as equal to symbol, then it should be always, what is the statement that I need to write? The machine is not improved. The machine is not, if it is not improved, then the defectives before and after repairing, it will be same, right? So null hypothesis, I will be writing the machine is not improved. Okay. So next one, second condition. Now, what is the second statement is asking? Is there any significant difference in the output? If there is a difference means what? Before and after there was some deviation. But here we are saying that null hypothesis always says that equal. That means there is no significant difference in the output before and after the machine is overhauled. The machine is overhauled. Okay. Now let us have notations for both of the statements individually. So that means what? H0 should be both the times it is P1 equal to P2 only. Okay. Now let us move on to the alternative hypothesis. Now we have to write this the opposite statement of this one. The opposite statement of this one. So I'll just write that. Now what should we write? Now the machine is improved. The machine is improved. Okay. So once the machine is improved, what happens here? What happens here? Improved means what? P1 is before repairing, P2 is after repairing. That means proportion of defective items should be decreased, right? If the machine is improved. So then what is the symbol I need to get here? I should get greater than symbol. I should get greater than symbol because the proportion of defectives will be decreased after the machine is improved. Okay, this is how we write the situation. And next, let me copy this. I'll just make some changes here. Now, second one is, now we were saying that there is no significant difference in the output, but in alternative hypothesis, we say that there is significant difference in the output before and after the machine is overhauled. Okay. Now, what is the statement that we get here? We do not write this as greater than symbol. We write it as there is significant difference means what? Either it can be increased or it can be decreased. So we write it as not equal to. That means it is in the first case it is right tail test. In the second case it is two tailed test. That means two different situations in the same problem. Now let us go with the level of significance. Here now again we'll start with, because since we are having two, we'll start with 2. So the value of Z tab at, is any LOS given in the problem? No, no LOS is given. If no LOS is given, we consider it as 5%. Okay, the value of Z tab at 5% LOS for right tail test is 1.645 from the tabulated value. Okay, we have discussed these tabulated values many times. Now next one is for the second one. We are writing it for now two tail test. For the value of Z tab at 5% LOS for two tail test is 1.96. These values I have just copied on from this table. Without this table, we cannot find out our tabulated value. For two tail test, it is 1.96. For right tail test, it is 1.645 under 5% level of significance. So we have got two standardized values. Now let us move on to the test statistic. Why this problem belongs to difference of proportions? Because since two samples, what are those two samples here? Since two samples, both are greater than 30, right? Two samples along with their subsamples are given. Two samples along with the subsamples are given. comma, where we can find proportions out of them. So we use large sample. Why we are writing large sample? Because both the samples are greater than 30. We use large sample difference of proportion. Okay. So this is the formula where we need to substitute. Now to get these values, these are the formulas which are already existing. Now how do we find out P1, P2? See, these are small P1, P2. That means sample proportion of first sample, but that means before repairing, proportion after repairing. Now small p, this is here P and Q, capital P and Q. Now P means what here? P means population proportion of success. 1 minus P is nothing but Q. Instead of giving Q directly, he has pasted as 1 minus P, that is population proportion of failure. So now, what is the values of X1 here? What is the values of X1? It is 16 divided by 500. 16 divided by 500 means we will get the answer as 0.032. Now, X2 value is given as how much? Now, we were given as 3 by 100. After, yes or no? We were having the values in the same way. N1 equal to 500, N2 equal to 100, X1 16, X2 is equal to 3. The same values I am going to substitute over here. Now, so this 3 by 100, the answer is 0.03. Okay. Now, finally, we have to write this expression, that is capital P. Here, when two samples are given, capital P value will be decided based on both the values. What are those values? Now, numerator is how much? 16 plus 3, 16 plus, I'll just make the next line. Now, numerator divided by denominator, that is 500 plus 100. So, that is equal to how much here? 19 divided by 600 is equal to what would be the answer for us? It is 0.0317. So once we got to know the value of P, immediately Q value will be how much here? 1 minus 0.0317. That is equal to 0.9683. This is the Q value. So now we got all the values. Just we need to substitute in the formula now. Now, what is our formula to substitute? Zcal is equal let's see the formula, small p1 minus p2. So let us keep them in the brackets. 0.032 minus 0.03 whole divided by, now since we have a huge square root, I'll just keep them in the bracket. First let me go with the square root, under square root, big brackets. Now within small brackets, I'll just multiply P into Q, that is capital P into Q is 0.0317 into 0.9683. Okay, let us keep small bracket for this. Now into, now the denominator values, right? 1 by n1 and 1 by n2. 1 by n1 500 plus 1 by 100. 1 by n1 plus 1 by n2. Close the brackets. And this value leads to the answer of 0.1043. Though you calculate in your scientific calculators, you get the same answer. We always consider 4 decimals after the point value. Okay. Now, what is the Z calculated answer? 0.1043. And what is the Z tabulated? So now we have 2, right? So I'll have 2 comparison. I'll have both comparison. Just a moment. First one, by comparing calculated value with the tabulated, I got zcal is as how much? 0.1043. But for the first one, what is the ztab value? First value it is 1.645. 1.645. And what is the second one? What we are having here is 1.96. So I'm directly, instead of doing in two problems, I'm just doing in a single step. Okay. Now our answer is less than the tabulated value. In the second case also, our answer is less than the tabulated value. So both the cases it is less than. Less than means what? We are going to accept H naught. So we accept H naught. In the second case also, we accept H naught. This is the comparison. Now let us move on to the conclusion of the problem. What is the conclusion? We are accepting H naught in the both cases means we need to copy this statement. Just clear to you. So even the first case we are accepting H naught, second case also we are accepting H naught. That means in both the cases the machine is not improved. That means the number of defective articles before repair and the number of defective articles after the repair also almost they are very equal. Why? Why so? See here the numerator. See the numerator P1 and P2 means what? Proportion of defective articles before and after the repairing. Before repairing it was 0.032, but now it has become 0.030. Only 0.002 value has been reduced. That means to repair the machine, you are investing a lot of amount over there, but though if there is a small minute change, do we accept that? No, right? With the same example of, I am giving tuition to some of the students. If the student usually got 27 marks in the examination before training, after giving the training also he is getting 35 marks. Is that succeeded? No, right? At least he has to get 40 marks, then only he is pass. That means increasing the marks to a certain level where that should be acceptable. Even the defectives also should be decreased in such a level to that it has to be up to the acceptable level. Then only we can say that the machine is improved. Otherwise, the machine is not improved. Okay. This is the conclusion of the given problem.